Welcome back. Let's move on with our course and discuss the needs of the older child. I'll give some suggestions on how to teach them the mindfulness meditation techniques in a user-friendly way. Go ahead, get out your notebooks, and as we begin to discuss the needs of the older child, age range around 7 to 9 years, let yourself brainstorm on how best to teach all the mindfulness meditation techniques to the child at this age. I will give you a few suggestions as jumping off points. I encourage you to let your creative juices flow. Here we go. Our primary purpose as the child's mindfulness and meditation teacher is to help the child to see the value of these techniques and experience the effectiveness of the mindfulness meditation techniques for themselves. Let us inspire our students to live a life of peace and emotional ease by applying the techniques of the training to their lives when needed. Our lesson plans need to include hands-on demonstrations that help the students to experience these techniques firsthand and discover how good they make them feel, not only physically, but mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. We may want to have a discussion with our students about what is spiritually. During this discussion, we should inform our students that spirit is the peaceful place that they arrive at when they are connected to their authentic self. Their authentic self can be discovered by practicing the mindfulness meditation techniques. Let's bring home to our young students that when connected in this way, there is no anxiety or depression. There is only peace and a love for life. Let us bring home to our young students that by living this way, they can experience life to the fullest. Who knows? This may later on be much more of a high than any drug or alcohol can give them. As their mindfulness meditation teacher, let's be inspired to touch the heart of our children and show them the value and benefit of living a life of peace. As a popular song once expressed, climb on the peace train. So after the class, with our older children, it is very beneficial to spend some time with the parents when they come to pick them up and tell them a little bit about what we worked on during the class so they can reiterate it at home. Let's make sure we coach the parents who are their primary life skill teachers to make sure their instruction with their child is a discovery lesson, a lesson of awe and wonder. Perhaps if the parents are willing, you could have a separate course for them and they could learn the mindfulness techniques themselves, which would be most beneficial to them and their child and the whole family. In that course, you would teach all the mindfulness meditation techniques as well as how to parent with wow lessons, lessons of awe and wonder. This is the teaching approach that we studied in our previous courses. I would suggest that we give the parents a handout or send a follow-up email with the techniques to work on with their children at home. Let us now discuss what the child, age 7 to 9, need. This stage is defined by a shift in the child's social interests. In early childhood, the child primarily identified with their parents or their primary caregiver. However, after about the age of 7 or 8, the child starts to identify mainly with their friends and their peer group. It's natural at this stage for them to have a greater interest in socializing with friends. For this reason, in this series of classes, we will plan to teach these older children independently of their parents. At this age and stage of the child's development, they are learning how to fit in with their peer group. This is a time to successfully navigate the social world. At this age, the focus turns to awareness of how their peers are reacting to what they say and do. The focus turns to how their peers are reacting to them as a person. And this is how the child at this age learns what is socially acceptable. And in other words, the child is learning how to fit in. Just as with the earlier age, when the child discerns how they were doing from the reaction of the adult caregiver, the older child now discerns what is okay and not okay from the reaction of their peers. The skill that is necessary to be developed at this age is first and foremost a healthy relationship with themselves, healthy relationships with peers, and healthy relationships with adult teachers and mentors outside their family. The way to develop this skill is to have a lot of opportunity in your class to practice acceptance. As we are the mindfulness meditation teacher, everyone is unique and special in their own way. By providing children with a lot of social interaction with peers and teachers, by integrating into your lesson plans and class settings self-discovery, which helps them develop a healthy relationship with themselves, peer support and interaction activities, which helps them develop a healthy relationship with their peers, teacher support and interaction activities, which will help them discover how to get along with other adults, teachers, and mentors in their lives. Your lessons need to help them to feel confident about themselves, trust their own judgment, and form appropriate social boundaries with others. Your lessons need to help them develop effective social skills because fitting in is very necessary to develop a healthy self-confidence and self-esteem, which will serve them well for the rest of their lives. Children of this age need to feel they are a necessary member of the group. They need to feel needed and accepted. This is very important for a child at this age. If the child is accepted by their peers, then their self-confidence grows strong. However, if they are not accepted, if they are excluded, their self-confidence is weakened. Every time the child has to answer a question or present something in the class, they risk looking foolish and not being accepted. The child at this age and stage of their development wants desperately to fit in. Ask yourself, how can you, their teacher, help them to do this? Positive peer review is very important to develop a healthy self-image and effective social skills to navigate their life in a confident way. Here's a teaching tip. When working with your children, 7 to 9 years old, as their teacher, we need to help the child at this age to come out of their awkwardness and shyness, to be courageous, and to be their awesome, authentic self in front of the group. The first set of mindfulness meditation techniques will help them discover their awesome, authentic self. The second set of mindfulness meditation techniques will help them socialize in an effective, peaceful way. When we teach our students of this age, we need to help the child take the risk and succeed. Take the risk of being their authentic self and that being accepted by their peers, and we need to help the child develop a strong sense of their uniqueness and encourage them to have self-confidence with regard to that. Maria Montessori believed that each child that is born is given a special gift to share with their world and make it a better world for all. We need to help our child bring that authentic self forward and discover their gift. When developing your lesson plan, keep these things in mind. First, as we go through the techniques, don't just lecture, but ask questions. Let students lose their fear of being in front of the group and answering the questions. Affirm every student that risks answering. Teach acceptance of everyone. Point out how everyone is unique and special in their own way, and how that is awesome. Wow, not one human being is made the same. We don't look the same, we don't look at life in the same way, and that is awesome. That is what makes life very interesting. Emphasize the importance of peer support and affirm each other. Design opportunities for social interaction and allow for the children to develop mindfulness in accepting each other's differences. Practice mindful listening, which is sometimes called compassionate listening. Note that for children in this age group, what you do and the tone with which you say things means more than what you actually say. This is a suggested activity for your students this age, a compassionate, mindful listening activity. Pair up 2 students and have them talk about their lives, their hobbies, snacks, favorite movie. One student talks while the other listens. Time it for about a minute. After a minute, ring the bell or strike a singing bowl. When the minute is up, then ask the listener to repeat back what the first person said. Finally, have the first person affirm that the listener did indeed get it right, or if they did not, give them a chance to clarify. And then switch it around and have the second person talk and the first person be the listener. Be sure to make this a fun and wow time for both people. Starting power and staying power. Another important life skill that needs to be mastered at this age is the ability to start a project, do it with enthusiasm, and end the project with staying power. In your lesson plan, you'll want to help the children to develop this skill by beginning a task and then doing it very enthusiastically and not stopping until this task has been completed. The task could be writing a journal or any other activity. A suggested activity would be a contribution to the community. Let each child have a special task to perform in the classroom. For example, giving out the handouts, making sure the water jug is full, or setting up cushions or chairs before the class, putting the chairs away. Emphasis on doing this task is that they do this as best they can in a very mindful way, and then complete the task. Encourage children to develop the quality of mindfully doing the task. You could have 2 children collaborating on the task and do the task together, which would bring about some more social interaction. This is a topic for discussion. How can you, as the teacher, encourage community engagement? Can you think of more mindful tasks the child can be engaged in to serve their community? Keep in mind, these tasks are helping the child feel useful to their community, helping them to know that they matter, and also developing the skill of enthusiastically and mindfully completing a task. How can you, as their teacher, help the child the freedom to develop skills and talents at this age? The child must take the courageous step into their own authentic self to discover their talents. They need to take the courageous step of moving away from parent and take the mature step into their own autonomy to develop the skills needed to become the person they were meant to be. The child must begin to feel comfortable at this age to begin developing skills that their parents perhaps do not have any knowledge about. The child must be made to feel comfortable demonstrating competence in skills that may even surpass the skill level of their parent. Another distinguishing characteristic of children at this age of their development is the child may find a mentor who is demonstrating to them the skill they need to move forward in their lives. Example, a piano teacher or a sports coach. The parents are not the only teachers of the child anymore. At this age, there are many more teachers and mentors necessary. The child needs to feel comfortable developing these relationships outside of the family. You, as the mindfulness and meditation teacher, are one of these mentors who they can begin to pursue a trusting relationship with. When you develop your lesson plans, all of the mindfulness and meditation techniques are to be taught to this age group, keeping the above needs in mind. A reminder of the mindfulness and meditation techniques. Stop technique. Have fun with this one. Make up an age-appropriate game so that it is sociably fun. External grounding. These techniques have fun with playing with the senses. Group the students together to explore so they can get along sociably and develop social skills. Internal grounding techniques. Have fun with these too. Discover the physical energy, emotional energy, mental energy, intellectual energy, as well as spiritual energy, the peaceful place within. The yamas. Mindful and compassionate listening skills falls under ahimsa, which brings health to self and relationship with others. As you can see, the understanding and the commitment to the yamas are very valuable, and we want to help our young children see how using these in all they do will bring success sociably and peace to them in themselves. Niyamas. The commitment to these will help keep the child connected to their inner peace. The niyama tapas, which means to mindfully and enthusiastically complete a class task, is one of our niyamas. Then we have jyoti meditation to balance the emotions. We have a research assignment for you. Industry versus inferiority. Erik Erikson states that successful experiences at this age gives the child a sense of industry, which means a feeling of competence and mastery. However, if the student fails to feel competent and master a task, they feel inferior to the other members of the class. This makes the child feel inadequate. While doing your research, answer the following questions. What does Erik Erikson's research on industry versus inferiority have to do with fitting in? How will you handle a person who gets a question wrong without making them feel inadequate? Third question. How will you handle a scenario where a child is being ridiculed or not accepted by the group because they are unique in a special way? This completes this section of the course. I'll see you again in the next video.